holistic health seeker who, after suffering an injury that wouldn't heal, was led on a journey to seek out alternative, holistic, and natural medicine. She now shares what she learned, helping people and their cats along their path to holistic health. Pam has taken courses in holistic health for animals, muscle testing, and animal communication. Please welcome Pam. Back to News for the Soul.
Happy Monday, everybody. I am so excited to be back with you for another perfectly holistic radio show. I am honored to be joined by an amazing colleague in the industry who has a very unique and special gift, or many gifts actually. But let me introduce you to Karen Dendy Smith. She is a soul level animal communicator, intuitive coach, a Pengu Shingon instructor, and energy healer. She is the founder of a volunteer organization, the Animal Communication Collective, that raises funds and awareness for animal rescues all over the world. She co-hosts a podcast with Julie Hurt and Meredith Tollison called the Animal Communication Podcast on mindbodyspirit.fm, Apple, and Spotify if you want to check her out. She finds immense joy helping people build deeper connections and relationship with their animals, families, alive or in spirit, including past lives. She delivers messages animals feel are important to help us heal and grow, and helps animals and their humans through energy work to create harmony and wellness. So, Karen, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We have a passion, both of us, that talk for energy, just like the whole concept of energy, how it affects us, how our energy affects the people and the animals in our lives. And I find that it's easy to be overlooked because if we can't see it with our eyes, it gets ignored or we don't think about it. So I just appreciate you being here tonight because we're going to have a great discussion. And if you guys are watching, be sure to drop a comment. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're watching from, because it's always fun to say hello and to see where you guys are tuning in from. So, Karen, thank you.
You're so welcome. And thank you for having me on your show, Pam. It's really exciting. We were just talking about how we met for the first time in person last year, and we're going to be getting back together again in August. So I'm excited about that.
It's so fun.
Yeah. And I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. Where are you located?
I'm in Central Texas.
So how cool that we can be hanging out together right now. And we're in different areas of our country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So cool.
So we wanted to talk about energy, this energy connection that we have, this invisible link. And I want to say hi to PETA from North Carolina, also on the East Coast. So hello, thank you for joining us. So where should we start? I know you had some great ideas for chatting. We have a lot to cover. So
we do
start. Yeah.
Well, I think it would be really interesting to just start with talking about energy, because energy in general, like what is energy? I get this question a lot when I talk to people, when I do animal communication sessions for my clients, and the animals are talking to me about the energy they're feeling. And my clients are always asking me, well, what exactly is that?
Yeah.
So the energy that I'm talking about is literally wavelengths of frequencies that we swim in, live in, and exist in, that is all around us. It's kind of like the wavelengths and waves that fish live in the ocean. We just have forgotten how to feel those waves, but they permeate through us and around us all the time, including our animals. And if we are in complete harmony with that flow of that energy, we are healthier, we are calmer, we are happier. Animals are healthier, calmer, and happier. But you know what? Life happens, right? And so when life happens, what we emit changes what is around our field.
Absolutely.
So that happens to affect our animals. It's not that I'm saying that we hurt our animals or that we're not doing the best for them, but they just are so sensitive. Part of the animal communication work that I do.
Yes.
They're just so sensitive. And you know this work too, from what you do. they feel what is going on. They feel the disturbances in the force, I'll say.
No, it's true. That's a very good way to put it. And I think we are not as aware as humans. We're so tuned into the external around us that we don't really pay attention to what's going on the internal or in our field, the energy field around us. Yeah, but our pets are little energy sponges for sure.
Yes. And they're constantly trying to rebalance us. And gosh, there's so many directions I could go with this right now, but I just want to explain, like, because I have a Chinese energy medicine background, that philosophy, that approach to energy dates back, thousands and thousands of years. And when, a lot of times we will confuse these two words. A lot of times we blanketly say life force, we blanketly say the word chi, but they actually are not exactly the same thing. So I just wanted to clarify that for people. So when we talk about life force, we're talking about the energy that we have in our body, like a battery pack. It's part of our soul. It is what animates us. It's like the battery. Think about how the battery in your cell phone, and how when it's full, everything's working well. The Wi-Fi is working well. When you don't have too many apps open, you're able to get a stronger frequency, right? And you can pick up more. Your phone doesn't slow down. But if we've got too much going on and too much disharmony going on in our own hearts, our life force gets used up faster.
Yes.
It also changes the frequency of our life force in our body and how it's affecting our organs and our emotions and our approach to thinking. And so over time, if we're disrupting the flow of that life force with our stress and our approach to life, not only can it deplete that, but it can also change the electrical currents that are feeding our body. And those currents, if they're not in the right flow, can actually kind of disrupt the perfection of our system. Now, on top of that, there's this thing called chi. Chi is the animating life force of the universe. It has an intelligence. It is the energy or the frequencies that feed the whole construction of the universe from Chinese philosophy. We can cultivate and call in that higher frequency into our bodies to help readjust our life force. The cool thing is our animals are constantly doing that. They're trying to constantly do that. They're constantly aware of that smoother, calmer frequency that's in nature, all around us, in the heavens, whatever you want to call it. And they will ground themselves on the earth. Cats will purr to kind of shift their vibration to take more of that in. And we're the ones who forget how to do that. So the other part of what I teach is how to cultivate that healthier chi into your life force. And that also helps your animals.
Oh, 100%. And I think all of us who own cats, we know how easily they can move into this place of zen and grounding and calming, and tune everything out. They're very good at that. And when they are not in balance, we know it. They're just as frazzled as we are.
They do.
Or whatever.
Yeah. And a lot of their behaviors or reactions to things is because they are feeling a disruption in the force.
Yes.
So sometimes I'll get clients who say to me, why is Fluffy behaving, the air quote, badly? Why won't they listen to what I want them to do? And they're just reacting to and trying to adjust to and share that they're feeling out of balance with something going on around them. They're not really behaving badly for no reason, like us humans can do. They're literally just trying to handle whatever the energy is happening inside of them and around them.
100%. I have a very sensitive little boy.
Do you?
He's very sensitive, and he's very vocal when he is upset, when his force is disturbed.
Yep.
Whether it be the dogs barking on the other side of the fence and he can't have his peaceful nap out, on the patio.
Right.
Or if one of my cats in spirit has been visiting and dive bombing him, following him around because they want my attention. Or, you know, he's upset with Skylar and Breeze because they're all full of energy. And he's like, ladies, I just want some peace and quiet, you know?
Right.
And he gets out of sorts really easily. And that has been my world the last 3 days.
Oh, has it really?
All of the above. All of the above. It's like,
Oh my gosh.
I need Calgon to take me away, or no, I need Calgon to take him away.
Oh,
He needs to just chill. And you know, we're doing the best we can.
you know, it's funny you say he needs to chill, because a lot of times when they are disrupted like that, if we look at they are mirroring, right?
Yeah.
There's mirroring and modeling going on.
Mm-hmm.
So when an animal is that out of sorts, and we think it's because of the other animals, it's a really good time to take a check on ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
even though we may be going along doing our thing the way we're supposed to, or, you know, the way we think we're being calm. If we really think about what's going on in our own hearts and souls underneath
Mm-hmm.
you know, another layer of the onion, let's say.
Yep.
A lot of times there's something else going on in us that we're not paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And our animals are mirroring for us that disruption in our own force by trying to get us to pay attention to what's going on. And they may be overreacting because maybe deep inside we might be overreacting about something. Mm-hmm. Or they might be being standoffish because they're saying, hey, I need more boundaries. And guess what? So do you. Right? You've been letting too much in. I don't want any of that. So I'm going to create more boundaries. But that's a sign that maybe you've let too much in, Mom. Mm-hmm. And you need to like clear some stuff and set up some better boundaries yourself. So it's pretty amazing how they do that, you know?
It is. Now, in his defense, he is almost 16 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So he's an old man.
Oh, buddy.
He doesn't look it, and but he, you know, he has less patience, I think, as an older man would probably have.
Yes.
Especially when you have a lot of young energy in the house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's definitely a conversation around boundaries, right?
Yeah. And, you know, the two younger ones, they just don't respect his boundaries sometimes. And, you know, I do the best I can, but, you know, we all have to live together under the same roof. So
absolutely.
Figure it out.
Easy.
It's not. Because if he thinks that he doesn't feel supported by me, you know, because I'm not like banishing them or, you know, keeping them away or what have you, you know, but it's just our pets are so smart, right?
Yeah.
They
really are
so smart. So it's always a good idea to, like you were saying, to just step back, and when your pet is going a little acting out of the norm, just sit back and just kind of take it in. So where else can we go on this? There is just so much depth that we could talk about.
And I just want to acknowledge Lori, who's talking about, you know, the more centered her energy is, the fewer and milder hyperesthesia episodes her cat has, which is true. It's amazing, right?
Yes.
They are so sensitive.
Absolutely.
And Lori, it is no coincidence that your wonderful Leo, his soul entered the Leo body with this hyperesthesia so that he could bring certain things to your attention. By his very sensitive background and his very highly sensitive nervous system, he's like the perfect, I'm getting this knowing, so I'm just going to tell you this, Lori. I have this knowing that at a higher soul level, his sensitivity brings a lot of awareness to you about your own sensitivity, is what I'm guessing. And by paying attention to what he needs, you're actually healing yourself as well, which is kind of like that higher pay grade soul relationship thing that started to happen before either of us entered the bodies. So one thing we can do is thank Leo for being there as your barometer, because our kitties are our barometers, which is a cool topic, right? Because I have a kitty that's my barometer, just like Lori. So I have a kitty. Her name is Dia, but I call her Princess Dia because she's such a princess. And she looks like a little Egyptian princess. She's got this amazing, perfect point at the top of her little white face that's a darker color. And she has a very sensitive stomach. It's no coincidence, right? I've had stomach ulcers.
Oh, wow.
She has a sensitive stomach. She came to me with this incredibly sensitive nervous system and stomach. When I am all up in it in my head, and my life force, my chi, is not grounded in my lower body, and my chest is up and my throat is tight, guess who throws up? Princess Dia.
Yes. Yes. She feels that energy. It's like this mirror, you know, she's reacting in the way that your body wants to react, you know, you would let it, I guess.
Well, in some ways, so when I've sat there and I asked her about this, I'm like, well, why are you throwing up? And she's like, well, somebody's got to spit it out. And what she means by spit it out is like, pay attention to what I'm running amok in my head and my chest, but I'm not speaking to myself about. So at the higher soul level, she's picking up my energy, which is what this whole talk's supposed to be about. She's picking up my energy, and it's riling up her digestive system too. And if I'm not grounding and centering, she will get all riled up and then go eat and then throw up like minutes later to get my attention around, hey, chaos, mom, energy chaos going on. Please help me here. So, and by paying attention to her, I take a deep breath. I say, okay, what have I not been paying attention to?
Yeah. PETA says, my boy is also very sensitive. He has been having territorial issues with a male cat who comes to our yard. I never get upset at Merlin, my boy, when he has sprayed inside the house, but he knows that deep inside I'm worried about him and just care so much. It's so hard. It's so hard. We just want them to feel safe, and, you know, don't worry about that cat out there. But
I know.
They're just not wired like that, I guess, you know?
No. Well, you know, PETA, that cat outdoors is working in cahoots at a higher soul level with your cat, Merlin, around this topic of boundaries. Right? So, and Merlin is trying to stand up for his territory by spraying around the house, right? And so the question to ask yourself is, what does this bring up for you around the topic of overstepping boundaries as well?
Nice.
And having to do with safe space and territory, you know, something encroaching on your safe space, your energy safe space and territory as well. And if you think about that, what kind of padding do you both need to create safe space, even though somebody might be passing by or trying to antagonize? Because I'm getting this sense that there's something around the topic of antagonizing or poking at that might be going on. I'd be curious, PETA, if something's going on in your life too around this topic too.
Interesting.
What do you think, Pam?
No, I think that's definitely a possibility. PETA, share, you know, if you can, drop a comment.
Pam, what do you think about because I know you work with the herbs and the energy of stuff. What do you think about how to support with you know, something that has some scent or some energy extension, like crystal or something? Like, what do you think would be would help PETA and Merlin?
Well, like, I love supporting root chakra. Obviously, color therapy, red is awesome. Angelica root, any kind of herb that would be very grounding. Yarrow, angelica root. There's another one. Valerian root is also very calming. Chamomile can be very calming. So, yeah, and you know what? If you had to, I know it's so hard to deal with a cat that's outside, that's not your own, and that's happening in our household some too. There's a feral that goes around the neighborhood, and from time to time he makes a stop in our backyard and marks and just sprays, like the grill cover, one of the chairs, the flower pots, and, you know, he doesn't stick around. He's just like, hello. Hello.
Yep.
I was here. I was here. And my cats go outside and they're like all sniffing everything. And then, of course, Gunnar comes in. He's wailing. He's like, that dang cat is in my backyard again, And I'm like, I'm sorry. I tried coffee grounds. I've tried
Did you?
spraying vinegar and water on all the spots. And of course, you have those enzyme cleaners that clean up messes and all that. I've used the whole dang bottle spraying like the cat marking sprays. So
Oh
I'm
my
like out there
gosh.
cleaning all the spots and spraying with the enzyme cleaner, and then I'll go back and I'll spray it with the water and vinegar situation, solution that
Mhm.
hopefully is more of a deterrent. I mean,
It's hard, right? This topic of
it's hard.
boundaries and
It is.
creating space for ourselves. It is a real thing, I think, in society as well, that our animals are amping it up for us. I really feel like animals are amping up this topic about boundary setting.
Mm-hmm,
It's a thing going on where they're really trying to get our attention around what are healthy boundaries.
yeah.
You know?
And I think if you look at how society is kind of taken a turn over the last several years,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of infringement in personal boundaries,
Yeah.
from government overreach. I won't say any other thing other than that. But, just these authority type
Mhm.
institutions or people saying, you can't do this, you can't go here, you have to wear this, you have to do that. And it's like, no, people just have to find their voice and say, I am sovereign and I will make decisions for myself. And I think too often people get afraid to
Mhm.
stand up for themselves and
Yeah.
say, no, I
Right.
disagree with that and I'm not going to comply, you know?
Right.
So I know it's harder for some people to do that than others. It's not hard for me because I'm just a Sagittarius who will speak my mind.
Right.
as nicely as I can sometimes. But I don't mind being that little rebel that's like, no, I ain't having it.
Love that.
I ain't having it.
Mhm.
I will rebel, and that's just me. Not to get in trouble, but just like I
Right.
just really have a strong sense of my own sovereignty, and I think people have to learn that again. I think it
Right.
was taken away for
Mhm.
so many people, but really they never lost it. They gave it away. You know what I
Well,
mean? So,
and some animals will work with us at a deep soul level. I found, talk about energy. They are
yeah.
so insightful into the struggles that we have that are at our core, like in our heart
Mhm,
and soul, the struggles we
mhm,
are having with ourselves,
mhm.
never mind the outside world,
Yes, yes,
right? Because we seem to magnetize to the things that upset us the most in the outside
yes,
world because of what we're struggling with in our inner core about our own
100%.
selves, right?
Yes.
So, perfect example is, and I want to get to what Bronson and Peter are saying, but how I got into all of this really way back in the day was I had this cat, Hockey Puck, who was a reincarnation actually of a cat from college, Dusty, who
Oh.
was the beginning of my realization that animals are these amazing sentient beings. We need to care for them like family members. I was young and in college when I
Mhm,
lost Dusty not too long after I'd become gotten out of college and become more of a grown up adult in my 20s. But so I begged the universe to have her come back, and she did come back as
mhm.
Hockey Puck. I had
Oh,
dreams about it. It was incredible. Dreams
wow.
that he was coming back. 3 weeks later, he showed up after 3 weeks of crazy dreams, and there he was. My brother found him for me, this little baby black cat that was 3 weeks old in the middle of a divided highway in
Oh,
Florida in the middle of the dark.
oh.
But his job with me is to continue the lessons that we had started to learn together, which was
Mhm,
speaking my truth,
mm,
not
mhm.
because I was trying to rail against the machine,
Right.
not because of any political choices or whatever, but
Sure.
because I wasn't speaking my authentic truth to myself. And so he would bite me. I'd get all upset. I'd cry, and he would bite me and bite me and bite me and bite me. And fine. And I kept saying to him, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But our animals know. Here's the perfect example of energy. What you say does not matter to them. if
Mhm.
in your heart and soul, what you're emitting as a frequency is not in line with your words, they
Mhm.
call BS on the words.
Mhm.
And then they go right to the heart and soul of the
Mhm.
matter. So he was going right to the heart and soul and biting me because I was being dramatic. So when I finally took a step back and said, okay, he's getting dramatic and biting me because I'm dramatic. Why am I so dramatic? Because when I was really young, how I learned to get any attention so that somebody would believe I was hurt and needed rescue was I had to over emote. So I'd carried this with me my whole life.
Something you learned. It was learned behavior.
Right, because when we're really little, we don't really have control over that stuff.
Right, right.
So, but as a human adult, we have the power to say, wait a minute, is that really how I want to be?
Mhm.
And once I started understanding why I over emoted and gave myself some kindness about it, I
Mhm.
started delving into what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And he stopped biting me.
Mm.
He stood there and guarded me, and he would stare at me and make sure I was actually on point with working on my energy.
Mhm.
I could still cry and be upset as long as I was being honest.
Yeah.
And he's totally stopped biting me. And because of that, I started getting into connecting with him more. And when he passed, I became an animal communicator because he led me here. So
Mhm.
our energy is really important, and our animals will call BS if we're not in alignment with what we're feeling. But a lot of times being in touch with what we're feeling comes from having to have some compassion for ourselves instead of negative talk about ourselves.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's when we get to uncover that stuff and let it heal.
Yes.
You know?
And I find that when those kind of situations come up, it's important to just kind of sit and think about what you're feeling and then ask yourself why.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I feeling like this? Why am I being reactive? Why am I being triggered? What is that triggering in
Yeah.
me? You know, on a soul
Yep.
level, and just really sit and be honest with yourself, like you were
Mhm.
talking about. Because until we really take a hard look and we are aware of what we're thinking about, and we can dig deep and figure out why,
Mhm.
then we can heal it,
Right.
you know?
And what our animals really want is presence.
Mm-hmm.
They want harmonious presence. The way that they operate in the world, they're asking us to come there, come with them to a place of presence.
Yeah.
Where it's okay to have a moment, but don't let the moment consume you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Because it's human nature to react, but the question is, how long are we going to react?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. Bronson Ragdoll, let me put this on the screen.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
she says, how do we stop being stressed when our cats are having issues? I've tried to be relaxed when they have health issues. I'm guessing I have to work more on that.
Well, that's a tough one, Bronson. I'm not going to lie. When my babies are not feeling well, I'm all up in it as much as you are. So it's really hard to do, especially with the health issues.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things we can do, but let's back it up to what happens. How do we stop being stressed when our cats are having issues? So I'm trying to hone in on what might be going on for you, Bronson. To me, it feels like there is something going on energetically. We'll go into the energy of it, where nervous system is like overtaxed a little bit. Are you yourself feeling a little bit agitated? There's some overstimulated nervous system stuff maybe going on in your fields or in your energy. So the way to relax, sometimes it's learning how to do some breathing techniques, learning energy management, letting some emotion out. It's not bad to let emotion out. It's hard when we harbor that emotion and we keep telling ourselves the same story and feel helpless. And so there's something about this topic of feeling helpless as well, tied to some of the issues that may be going on. So I would say reach out to kind of alternative support. See if there's a homeopathic vet in your area, or work with Pam. Maybe look at animal diet, or patterns that you're seeing happen over and over again, so that you can kind of choose something else as opposed to why is it. One of the things animals have told me, I'm spinning around here a little bit, but one of the things they said is sometimes we get into a process of, I'm not sure if I can, I just can't, I don't know how do I get myself out of this whole language, versus stepping back. Oh, good, Bronson's working with Pam, yay, that's a really good thing. And saying, how can I, like, what is the one thing I can do? Because that, again, it lightens up the frequency,
Right. Yes. And I think a lot of times we get just too consumed about what will happen instead of being in the present moment. We start to worry about what if, and we think we're thinking in the future. If you just sit with where we are right now in the present and just be calm, be centered, and just pull gratitude into our heart and focus on the right here, right now, because the future doesn't exist yet. And we could be drawing more of the same angst to us if we keep worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet, or, something bad, whatever it might be. But if we can just really pull ourselves into the now and the present, and just, yes, it's the unknown, but it's right here, right now, because that's all we have. We can't change yesterday, and we haven't come to the future yet. So don't put negative potential energy into something don't worry about something that you have no control over, number one, because it's definitely scientifically proven that whatever energy we're putting out, we are attracting back to us. So we have to be aware of what that broadcast signal is that we are emitting and sending. But if we just focus on right here, right now, and just be grateful, even if your pet, I think, is struggling, and he's doing better.
Oh, good.
He's doing better. I mean, he's got a journey to go through, and it can be very worrisome. Not going to minimize that, because we all have been there. I just think pouring that gratitude into our hearts for, yes, I have another day with him today. I have today. We're not promised tomorrow.
Right.
We hope there's tomorrow. We hope there's 2 weeks from now, but we just have to be grateful for right here, right now, and just think of all the things you can be grateful for, and all the joy that your pets give you, and the blessings that they seem to pull into our lives, and how empty they would be without them, but just being grateful, I think it's such a powerful energy. It's a super high vibe energy. Yes, we can all get down and out about certain situations, but I think even in those times, it's okay to feel that way for a bit, but don't stay in there. Don't stay in there too long,
So I would love to share an approach.
Yeah.
If that's okay, a little technique that might help, because for so many, saying go and be more grateful, a lot of clients will come to me and say, well, how do I do that? Like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get out of my head is spinning. So what I say, stop worrying about, sometimes for some people I say, stop worrying about trying to be grateful.
Yeah.
Because that's still energetically at a heart and soul level saying, I need to pull myself out of this hole, which equates to I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy and deserving, right?
Yes. Yep.
So instead of that, one thing we can do is just do some breathing. Don't worry about what you're thinking. Just do some belly breathing. Take a moment, put a picture of your animal in your heart, cat, dog, iguana, whoever it is, with as much love as you can muster, imagining them in their perfect state, not the ailments they're going through, not the pee they just put on the couch, none of that. Just them in their perfect state, and just imagining as much love and golden light as you can muster to surround them in your chest until you start to feel the love you have for them. And once you've done that, you can actually imagine taking that light and actually letting it float out of your chest toward your animal, almost like a present, like a gift. Like, here, I want to share how much I love you with you, how much you light up my heart. I'm going to share that with you, and allow that golden light to actually float toward them like a gift. It's kind of step one of animal communication anyway. You will, and if you just sit there emitting that appreciation and love for them, not worrying about being grateful, but just sending this love to them, you will get a bounce back. And that bounce back is them going, whoa, oh, that's different. Hi, I love you too. Now you've created the telephone connection, the energy telephone connection, and you can just sit there imagining this light going back and forth between the two of you with a lot of love for about 5 or 10 minutes. Without even knowing it, you've already changed the frequency in your own body. You've changed the frequency between the two of you, and you've allowed your animal to take a breath, which can allow them to heal if energy healing is part of what they need. So it's a really cool technique that I found really helps a lot of people to give their animal a little bit of energy space so that they can take a breath as well.
I love that so much. Let's go to Peter has a comment. She goes, Peter says, I have had some other things going on, totally unrelated, that have been stressful. I've tried Dr. Judy's flower essences that didn't help. I actually just installed a motion activated water device today. I've tried lots of natural things, loads of enzyme cleaners, pheromone plugins. The issues happen at night. So yeah, can you close the curtains?
I'm going to ask what else what else would be helpful to help Peter's cat. I'm getting the sense there's some like weird smelling spray. If you sprayed it around your perimeter outside your house, I don't know if it's like a bitter smell, like a bittery, appley. It's vinegar maybe, but there's something else like spray. See if you can spray it around the perimeter of your house on the outside to see if that deters the animal who's stalking. I feel like they're stalking, by the way. They're like kind of stalking the area. See if that might disrupt their stalking sensibility. Because I'm definitely feeling like they're stalking on purpose.
Very interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, Peter. That's hard when that happens. That's really hard. It's like, I just want that one to go away.
Right. And now if your cat is indoors and that's why I'm thinking, if there a way to close the window so he can't see outside and he can't, be triggered by the visual of the visitor.
Yeah.
Cats are so sensitive to smell, like you were saying. So if there's something that you can spray around out there on the areas maybe that he is marking or spraying, that would turn him off. That's why I grabbed the vinegar water solution that I sprayed on my areas. But I also heard that some cats get turned off by coffee grounds. So you can try rubbing coffee grounds on some air, throwing it out there. I don't know,
and citrus too. Strong citrus smell.
Yeah, you could even do citrus with the lemon and the vinegar, lemon, and water mixture.
See how that works.
Be like a double whammy there. Maybe that will help deter a little bit. Yeah.
There's also, I don't know, Pam, have you ever heard of this, the cat fairies?
Yes.
They have a spray called Convivial House Cat. Have you ever tried that?
I have some. I haven't had to use it in a really long time.
It's it might be something to try, Peter. It's called Convivial House Cat. Spraying it inside and also spraying it outside and see if that might help. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Let's go to Barbara.
Okay.
Barbara says, my former street boy is loving our grounding bed sheet. He has a grounding mat, but I purchased a grounding sheet for our bed a few months ago, and he jumps in every night. I sleep more peacefully, have more energy, and Tom sleeps on the grounding sheet right next to me. I love it.
Oh,
I love it. And they are my longtime clients.
oh, wonderful.
Tom is quite an amazing kitty, but he's got an even more amazing mama.
Oh.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
So tell us about the grounding sheet in case somebody's listening that doesn't know about this. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's a great form of like energy balancing.
yes, yes. PETA says, let me put this up. I have been having acupuncture and started tapping and doing more meditation. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's
Good
really
job.
great. Mm-hmm.
Fabulous.
And I'm wondering if, okay, this is like really out there, but if you ever can see the kitty yourself and get a photo, maybe you could reach out to Karen and have a little
Yeah.
conversation with this neighborhood visitor that's
Mhm.
causing a lot of trouble. And maybe, maybe he just needs to be asked, don't come around, and figure out why he's coming around.
Right.
They always have something to say.
Absolutely.
You know,
I had it's really interesting. I had one case. This is so cool. I had one case where a cat kept coming around. And it was so strange because it was actually that cat was coming around and it looked very much like a cat who had passed,
Mm.
client's cat who had passed. And the other cats inside the house were kind of going a little crazy. And come to find out, it was the cat spirit who passed, you like connecting with the cat on the outside to come say hi because they looked so similar that
Oh,
he just wanted to say hi to his person and get the point across that he was saying hello. And he would come around every once in a while and she would take the time to say hello back and thank her cat in spirit. And then that cat would move on and it caused a lot less ruckus.
wow, that's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show this. She says, the curtains are closed. Merlin sleeps with me and my girl cat. Some of the windows have the opaque film on, and Merlin gets behind the blinds in the front window.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a way of doing that.
He's quite a protector for you, though.
Yeah, maybe he feels like you need a little extra protection.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely feel that from him. He's kind of protecting his turf in his house. So yeah, he's quite a protector for you. And again, this is a boundary topic that if allow yourself some time to meditate on,
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we pick up?
Love is actually threw us out a comment too. I don't want to miss out on that one for Love is if they're still listening.
Yes.
This one says my cat suddenly stopped playing with wand toys and I have no idea why. He's almost 3 years old.
Oh, here we go.
Let me just give me a second to hone in on this one. Like, why, Love is Kitty? Why did you stop playing with your toys? He said, I'm bored. I just literally asked and I heard, I'm bored. So, and he wants to hunt something that makes him feel like he's hunting more. So he wants to really sink his teeth into something that he thinks he's killing. And the wand toy isn't representing enough of a kill. I hate to say it, because cats don't actually air quote play, right? They hunt, kill, eat, sleep. So somehow that wand toy isn't like cutting it for him as far as the hunt and kill part of the game. So it may be time to look at different kinds of engagements with him where he feels really more like I'm saying, yeah, that he's accomplished what his catness wants to set out and do, because he's also 3. Cats, as they turn like 3-ish years old, they come into their maturity, so that innocent kitten, like I'll attack anything, even your toes thing is kind of past them. And they actually want to accomplish the hunt. So think about maybe a different kind of toy or look into something that is a little more prey model for your kitty and see if that might help.
And I wonder have you tried harness training him and taking him outside for more mental stimulation? Or do you have a safe access place where he can go outside and hunt lizards and bugs, and it's- I can tell you, my kittens are so excited they can go in the backyard.
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, I accidentally bought a toy with deer hair, and I think that's what's caused the problem. I've tried everything.
Deer hair. Okay, so he got used to wanting to kill something that felt real to him. Does that? And now he's like, he doesn't want to back down from the real hunt.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting when you can get into their head a little bit.
A little bit.
A little, yeah.
As much as they'll let me, like, in this quick hit moment.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Okay, here's another comment from PETA.
Okay.
She says, the other cat comes over as I used to feed him. They are not good owners, and I have fed him since before I had Merlin. As Merlin became a more mature cat, he started to object, so I had to start discouraging the other cat. Oh, okay, so it's your fault.
Oh no, PETA.
You have such a huge heart. You're trying to make this kitty feel love because he doesn't feel love in his own house. And now your Merlin is a little upset and jealous. I wonder if you could do some energy work to clear disresonance between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the other kitty's name, that can work.
And also, there's something, so have a conversation with Merlin. I know this is going to sound crazy, but have a conversation with Merlin around allowing, ask him his permission to allow this cat to be a part of your extended family from the outside.
That's a great idea.
And send love with you and Merlin to this other cat as part of the extended family with the picture of Merlin at the top of the hierarchy. And see if that might help, because your agitation about what's going on is actually supporting Merlin's perspective that this cat shouldn't be around. As opposed to switching it over to, okay, Merlin, let's invite this cat to just be part of our extended family. Please allow some space for him outside. Let's care for him together. You're at the top of the food chain, Merlin. It's your house, but let's look at him as part of our family if we can. And shift your perspective and energy to asking Merlin for his help, as opposed to your angst that Merlin's picking up every time that cat comes around, which means Merlin believes that because your energy is off, he has to like manage and protect the house.
And the other cat doesn't understand why you're not feeding him anymore. So he keeps hoping, maybe if I keep showing up, she'll keep giving me a treat or something. So I love that approach.
I've seen that help. I mean, 100% of the time, of course not. But we did this for a client a few years ago who had a big orange tabby cat that was stalking their house and area. And we talked to the owners, my client's cat, about let the cat, it's okay. You're in charge of the yard. Let's just let this cat kind of walk around the perimeter safely. And because the person's attitude changed, the cat fighting between his cat and the other outdoor cat actually diminished.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. Okay, now Levis says, if I'm able to harness train him and take him outside, won't he be disappointed when he can't catch any prey? I would say not necessarily, because you're providing so much environmental stimulation. I don't know if you've ever heard the term sniffaries. They do it more for dogs. But I can tell you, when I put my cats in harnesses and take them on the front side of the house, they're just like, oh, they want to sniff everything. And they're just so engaged, and it's like all these new smells. So I don't know that it's necessarily, he doesn't have to go catch prey necessarily, but just letting him have that environmental enrichment in a safe way might really help, just give him an outlet, stimulation. What are your thoughts?
I agree, because I had a cat that I trained on a harness too, and she loved just rolling around in the grass outside and just sitting out there and smelling and grounding. And so even just doing that. And then she would rub her face all over everything. And that way, if anything else came, she already had marked the space as hers.
Yeah.
So she didn't have to go and kill anything. She actually just created kind of like her territory marking. And that helped a lot too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lori Christine says, my cats, Leo, Nick, Jenny, and Nathan, are happier, calmer, and enjoy life more when I am happy, calm, and don't worry so much. Our home is more zen-like when my energy is more balanced. Oh, 100%.
Good realization, Lori. That's awesome. It is so true, right?
Funny how that works, isn't it?
It's pretty amazing.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. But how cool that you are tuned into that and you've learned how to be aware of that, and it, you've figured that lesson out, which is awesome.
And there's a really cool thing that you can look up if you don't know about it already. Whoever's watching, just the scientific proof of this, that a thought changes the frequency and cellular structure of the thing you're thinking of. So from that perspective, I think his name was Masaru Emoto.
Yes.
We know about him. So
yes.
Even the words you use and the sentiment in your heart, when you speak and have a sentiment in your heart, there is a frequency emitted toward the thing that you're focused on. So when we put attention on something, we actually connect with it and enliven the structure of it. Because we are not solid beings. We are permeable. We just look like we're solid. So our cellular structure, the thing you're focused on, actually gets enlivened. So the intention you have when you focus on the thing also adds to the cellular structure. So if you're paying attention to something and you're really angry, like water, and he did these amazing tests on it where he started saying negative things to water, how much he hated it, and anything negative they could think of, they threw at the water. And then they looked at the cellular structure, and it actually broke apart and looked really broken apart and not very pretty. And then they did the same thing with water, and they started sending love to it and singing love poems to it and saying, praising the water. And they looked at it under a microscope, and the water cellular structure changed into these absolutely beautiful patterns. So what we say, how we focus, and what we emit actually really does affect someone else's frequency.
100%.
Including our animals.
Yes. Blavis says, I've been really wanting to harness training, but wasn't sure if it was a good idea, being that I'm his fourth and final home. Thank you so much. You know what? You have to just be creative, use your imagination, be as creative as you can to provide the environmental enrichment on whatever level that might be. And just watch their energy shift, PETA says, and we're about to have to wrap up. I feel so bad. So she says, it's my fault. I feel awful chasing bubbly off. Bubbly is
bubbly.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe do an animal communication session with Karen between Bubbly. I'm sure you have a picture of him and your cat.
Merlin, I think it was his
name.
Merlin.
And maybe the three of you can have a meeting of the minds and find some harmony,
It can help. Yeah. We could probably uncover something for you, PETA, that will help. So email me.
Why don't you share with where people can find you? Yeah.
So personally, you can find me at Karen Dendy, DENDY Smith.com. Very easy. My name, my website. Also on Instagram, Karen Dendy Smith _intuitive, or Facebook, Karen Dendy Smith -KDS Energy. You'll find me. Karen Dendy Smith is not a very common grouping of names. So there aren't many of us out there named that. So just give me a look. You can DM me or email me through my website, and we can talk about how energy can help you and your animal kind of get reconnected at a higher frequency.
Yes, that would be awesome. And one final comment, Lori Christine says, I've been doing Reiki for years. Now I want to focus more on animal Reiki, and I want to learn animal communication too. So I think that's awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Awesome. Yay. Yeah.
Email me. We'll talk about it.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you guys. I hope this was enlightening. I hope it gave you guys some ideas and some insights, maybe perspectives that you haven't really thought about when it comes to your energy, your pet's energy, and the energy in your environment, and how it can be beneficial or detrimental depending on what we're doing. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you watching and being here. Please share this video with any animal lover, because the more awareness that we can create about this kind of topic, the better our relationships with our pets are going to be.
Yes.
And we're all about keeping it all, just supporting our pets as they support us. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a rest of your week. And we will see you next time on the Perfectly Holistic Radio Show. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, everyone.
Muted.